ready. Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Coach Howard. I want to welcome Howard Show. It's been a long time since I've been on, and I'm so excited to be back to you right now. Exciting show coming up today. I'm so blessed to have two of the top coaches in the country, in Coach Holtmann out of Ohio State University, and also Coach Izzo, the Hall of Famer from Michigan State. What more can you ask for on a special edition of the Coach Howard Show? Also, at the end of the show, we're going to talk about it's been a long, very happy with it, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter um, of my young life. But I'm more excited about the guest that's coming on. I've known both of these gentlemen for quite a long time, and I'm looking forward to talking to them. Looks like I don't can hear me, but it looks like I froze up a little bit. So hopefully we can get that fixed. But you can most important thing. He's done a great coach. Fantastic. That also talk about last year knocking down, but we're going to talk about this year and what it's going to take to get through that rugged Big Ten schedule. I'll talk to Coach Izzo. We'll talk about some of the same things. We'll talk about his year last year, which wasn't the kind of year that he was looking for. I'm sure. I know Coach. I know he's a winner. And talk about his incoming recruits. Great recruiting class with him as well. A couple of 5 stars coming in. And we'll talk about his upcoming season and what it's going to take for the Spartans to get back to the top once again. So I'm looking forward to the show. You know, let me tell you about a big show that we have coming up this Sunday. This Sunday on the Coach Howard Show, we're going to be doing a barbershop talk at a cut above the rest here in Columbus, Ohio. We've got some of the most prominent pastors in the city that's going to be there. I'm waiting on a word that I should receive tomorrow if the mayor is going to be there and the chief of police. And I'm hoping that they accept this invitation. But we're going to talk about gun violence amongst teens in Columbus. It's out of control, and we're going to discuss that. And I'm looking at that show myself as the host, along with my co-host Al Edmondson. It's going to be a great discussion, and we're going to dig deep into maybe what can be done here in Central Ohio to slow down the violence. You can't stop it, but maybe to slow it down. Um, so that's going to be this Sunday at 6 p.m. In Columbus, Ohio. Barbershop talk at a cut above the rest. barbershop uh, with some of the top pastors in Columbus, Ohio. But I'm excited to be back, and I wanted to do this special show tonight, not just to talk about where I'm going, what lies ahead for me, my decision, why I made the decision, but I wanted to get back started again. I'm excited to be doing football high school games this year. I have a 10 game schedule. I'll be doing games every Friday night um, with TKDS Sports, and we'll be doing the games live. We've got a great schedule for you. And I think I've got that schedule right here. I can go over with you while we've got a few minutes. This is our 10 game that we have. Now, we may change something, we may not, but this is what we have as of right now. And I'm excited to be doing the color commentary. I accept all challenges. And when I was asked and we talked about doing this, I was very excited to do it. Our first game is going to be Westerville North against Westerville Central. We chose that game because you've got Stanley Jackson, a former Buckeye, and he's brought in a group of Buckeyes. And I believe they can come in and they can turn this program around. I'm excited about that. So that's the game that we chose for game number one. Then we've got Wayne coming in out of Dayton, Ohio, to play one of the top teams in the area year in and year out, Pickerington Central. That's our second game, August 25th. Our third game is going to be Upper Arlington and Pickerington North, another great matchup with two big time teams. Pickerington North just got a great running back, an Ohio State commit that just came over. So that's going to be a good game with a tough Upper Arlington team, as they are each and every year. Then we've got Pickerington Central and Pickerington North. Is there a better rivalry in the city? If there is, I don't know. And I know there's some great rivalries out there. But that game, Pick Central and Pick North, is going to be another classic showdown in Pickerington, Ohio. Then we're going to see who most people say is the number one team this year in Central Ohio, and that's the Gahanna Lions going up against Pickerington Central. Another matchup. I look forward to seeing Gahanna. You hear so many different things about them, and I'm excited about that as well. Then we've got Olentangy and Olentangy Berlin rival. I'm looking forward to that. Don't know much about these teams, but I know Olentangy year in and year out has been good, and Berlin has been coming up. So I'm looking forward to that game as well. Then we've got Olentangy Orange going up against Dublin Coffman. Olentangy Orange has a phenom young quarterback in Levi Davis. Remember that name, Levi Davis, one of the top young quarterbacks in the state of Ohio, going up against Dublin Coffman. That's a good matchup. Should be a great game. Then we're going back over to Gahanna, Westerville Central, going up against Gahanna Lions, who everyone says is the top team in the state. Then we go back over to Pick North with New Albany at Pick North. Always a good game. New Albany is always very competitive, and Pick North is going to be one of the top teams in the area. And we close it out with the Reynoldsburg Raiders going up against the Pickerington Central Tigers. Reynoldsburg, year in and year out, they're right there scratching at the door. This year they have a chance to get through the door. So we'll be taking a look at that game as well at Pick Central. So I'm excited to be doing these high school games this year. What more can you ask for? I'm living the dream, right? Once I leave football, I'm going straight into basketball, high school basketball. So I'm excited about that. So I'll start my podcast up again in August. We'll be doing weekly interviews with high school football coaches, talking about their teams and what's coming for them. And I'm looking forward to that. So my guest, Chris Holtmann, should be coming on here real soon, and I'm looking forward to speaking with him and talking about the Buckeyes. Of course, I grew up a Buckeye, but I love a whole lot of other coaches. But when you grow up in Columbus, Ohio, you grow up being a Buckeye. So I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back in a few seconds to get started on the Coach Howard Show. I'm glad to be back. Don't go nowhere. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back to the Coach Howard Show. I'm so excited about my next guest. That's my guy, um, Coach Holtmann of Ohio State University. Coach, how you doing, man?
I'm good, George. I'm good. It's good to be with you, my man.
It's always good to see you. You know, you're my guy, I appreciate you coming on, for me to just have a special edition today. I'm glad that I was able to get you on just to talk a little Buckeye hoops, along with somebody else that you know very well, Hall of Famer Tom Izzo. Couldn't ask for two better coaches to come on just on a small special just to kick off my show coming back again. You've been all right? How's the family? Everybody good?
Everybody's good. Yeah, everybody's good, George. Tell Tom to stay out of Ohio. Keep his he and his staff get out of Ohio. Stay away. No, it's been a good summer. It's been a good summer. We've had it's nice to have a little more continuity with our roster than what we had last year. It's always hard to have continuity in college basketball this year, but we got a lot of familiar faces returning that played an important role uh, in our late season run last year, and also obviously went through struggles. So it's good to have everybody in the gym here. We just got out of the gym here, and it's good to be here and good to be back at it.
Coach, I'm gonna dive right into it. You know, last year it didn't go as you expected it to go. Um, and we put all that behind us. But when you look back on last year, Coach, um, can you take anything from there moving forward to this year?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean there's a ton of stuff. If you can't, then last year was a waste, and that's on us. Um, having said that, we knew, George, that there was going to be some struggles, just because of how young we were going to be. We anticipated, that there would be some real struggles. Obviously, you don't anticipate kind of the degree of which we lost during that stretch, but uh, I think we kind of looked at it as I've said, now publicly, and said, okay, we've been to the tournament every year. We've been a top 20 team in the country every year. A couple years we were top 15, top 10. I think the COVID year we were up there as high as top 5. Um, and while we had won some games in the NCAA tournament and advanced, in the first round to the second round, we had also, went to the Big Ten tournament championship, and a couple of those years, competed late into the season. We were trying to figure out, hey, how do we get to the next step? And I think we decided to kind of really go young with our roster, hope that those guys get older and learn from it, and back it up with another good recruiting class, as we did. And that's kind of the decision we made, but it wasn't going to come without some challenges, and there certainly were those.
Well, one thing that I know is that you do a great job of evaluating talent. And sometimes when you jump into the portal, and I've had this discussion with many, many coaches, when you jump into the portal, you're only getting what you've seen on film or what you've seen when you've watched them. You have no idea how they're going to play when they come to you, because you only know by, okay, it's like me going to recruit a guy for the program. And when I watch this guy two or three times, well, I'm like, wow, this guy is nice. And I'll watch him on film. Wow. But when he comes to, he's not the same player. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of coaches that says that just happens. That's not your fault that happens. And in my opinion, it's just my opinion. I think some guys let you down last year, and I think they let down the whole Buckeye fan base. And that wasn't your fault or your coaching staff fault, because you guys, and I've told many of people, you do a great job of recruiting, coach, and you have since you've been here. And I think once again you've brought in another good recruiting class. Can we talk about them for a second?
Sure. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. No,
Let's talk
we've
about
got.
is
Yeah. No. We've got. We got Bruce, Roddy, Felix, a part of that previous recruiting class. Obviously, we anticipate having Bryce, longer than 1 year, but we're super happy for him getting picked by Utah and the opportunity he's got there in Utah to grow and grow his game. But you have three guys that started for us last year and helped us as we won 5 out of 7 late in the year. But they need to take the next step. So our team will begin with them, begin with Zed Key. We have Kalen Etzler returning, Bowen Hardman returning. It's gonna start with those returning players. I think the freshmen is a class we're really excited about, as you know well, George. Start with a local young man, obviously in Devin Royal, who is just physical, strong, good athlete who's got a game that's just growing and learning. And Scotty Middleton's another guy, 6'6", 6'7", good length, good size, can really shoot it. Um, Tayson Chapman's point guard, and Austin um, Parks is a big 6'10", 6'11" kid from another Ohio kid. Tayson's point guard from Minnesota. But they all have developing in front of them, but they all have a real, I think, opportunity to grow into really good players here.
Coach. Is it Tayson?
Yeah, I'm sorry, George. George, you're choppy a little bit here.
Or
You're
uh,
you're
let's
breaking up a
hope
little
back,
bit.
Coach.
I think I got you now.
Okay,
Sorry about that. I don't
Tayson
know if that's.
Chapman. Is that his
Yep.
name, Tayson?
Yes.
Uh, talk about him. People may not be familiar with him, and then talk about your transfers, McCaffrey, who I'm familiar with, McCaffrey and Bonner. Not too familiar with guys coming in.
Yeah. So yeah, Tayson's combo point guard combo, 6'4", good size, good length. Has to get stronger. Has to get kind of a more physically ready college body. I think to be able to kind of have the impact, he's going to need some time to add weight and strength, but great feel, highly skilled, um, really good with the ball, really good with the ball. Um, I've talked about Scotty. I think Scotty's a real two-way player and has a chance to have an impact as a freshman. Devin's physicality and his ability, I think, to rebound the ball at a high level when his motor's really running is really exciting for us. Austin, again, all those guys have a real chance, I think, to grow into, really good players in a Buckeye uniform. And then you mentioned our transfers. We have Jamison Battle from Minnesota. Um, 6'7", kind of versatile wing forward, has been able to score the ball at the Big Ten level, at a really high level.
Now he
Dale
was all Big
Bonner's
Ten last year, wasn't he?
he was preseason All Big Ten, and I think had they had a better year, he might have been. But preseason, he was. You're right. Um, Dale Bonner's a kid, Ohio kid. We're really excited about Dale Bonner. He's got great quickness, great burst with the ball. Gives us some really needed stuff in our backcourt. I'm really excited about his impact. And then Avon Mahaffey, a young man from Moeller, as you mentioned, um, who is just kind of growing his game. and he's a sophomore, so we really look at him as like a part of last year's recruiting class. Um, but just his game gets better in front of our eyes.
Um, so you take with Heath Thornton, Gale, and Felix, and you add them with the other guys. What I see one hell of a team back, Coach. I think you guys can be. It looks like a team on paper that can compete right up there in the Big Ten. What what do you expect? What is your expectations for this team this year?
I think our expectations are to maximize our potential and our ability as a team, which, you know, that is I know a general answer, but it's always to do that. It's We need to be a top 25 defense for one, George. Um, and we need to be get back to being the highly effective and efficient offense that we were the previous 5 years, where we were a top 20 offense in the country every year. Last year, we were not very good, particularly in Big Ten play offensively. And then defensively, we had our worst year since we've been here. So, first and foremost, we have to become a defensive minded team. We have to take a real step on that end, and then we have to get back to being a better, more efficient offensive team. And I think that, and then we want to be playing our best basketball later in the year. And I think that's what's in front of us. Maximize who we are as a group. We need to be a top 25 defensive team, and then we need to be playing our best basketball late in the year.
Do you Can you talk about some of the big games, um,
Yeah,
non-conference games that the Buckeyes have this year that the fans out there can look forward to watching? And is there
yeah,
any at home?
yeah. I've been more than happy to. I think you people who know how I schedule know well enough that I'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
and
yes.
honestly, I stole that from Tom. Like I've taken that philosophy from him. We're not going to be afraid of playing anybody. We've beaten a couple number one teams in the country at the shot, and uh, we have a really exciting schedule this year. Home schedule in the shot. Last year, to be honest with you, we did not have a super attractive schedule for our fans. We didn't have a marquee non-conference game at home, and we didn't have some of the marquee teams that people want to see outside of a couple teams, Big Ten teams, at the shot. We were playing most of them on the road. Well, this year we have a top 10 to 12 team in the country coming in, our second game of the year. We open up with a tough Oakland squad. We have some really good mid majors. But we play Texas A&M our second game of the year. I think they're 12th or
Wow.
13th in the country in the preseason at the shot, second game of the year. Um, and then we play UCLA. We're playing West Virginia and Cleveland. We're playing Alabama and Destin and maybe Oregon. Uh, and then we have some really good teams coming to our place in January, February, and March. We have all the teams that everybody wants to see in the Big Ten coming to our place. And I'm really excited about our home schedule. On top of that, we have a exhibition with Dayton, surrounded around mental health. Um, and that is just an exhibition game, but we're going to Dayton and playing.
I'm a big believer in having a tough non-conference schedule, even with high schools or with anybody, because what that does is, and you're right, Coach Izzo's been doing that for years. But
Yes,
what it has done, if you've noticed that when he gets to tournament time, they're tournament ready because they've been battle tested already. So I
no
think that's
question.
one of the things that's one of the things Pick Central did for a long time. They had a tough non-conference schedule. My son has went over to Reynoldsburg and with Andy Moore, and they have a very tough non-conference schedule. So I believe that having a tough non-conference schedule is very important. And it looks like that's what you're doing and to get ready for the Big Ten. Um, what's playing in the Big Ten? It's like no other conference in the country. What is it about the Big Ten that is so? Why is it so physical and just? The Big Ten is different. How is it so different than everybody else? Because they say the SEC is just boom, 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 and but the Big Ten year in and year out is the toughest conference in the country. Why is that?
It is, and I think some of it is, and you know this, George, is you know, leagues get reputations which are sometimes not always kind of warranted. Our league is physical, but I coached in the Big East with Villanova and UConn and Creighton and Xavier, and that league was physical. Um, I think what you typically see in the Big Ten that's a little bit different is bigger centers. So they that gives the impression that it's a more physical league because you have Zach Eady, you have Hunter Dickinson, you have Kofi Coburn, Caleb Wesson for us was a big physical center. Um, you know, we now have three guys. Like I said, Austin's almost 6'11", Felix is over 6'11", almost 7 foot, and then Zed, when he gets healthy, provides great. Even though he's 6'8", provides great length. But I think the league, it's scouted really well, George, as you know. There are just what has been different than when I joined the league, 6 years ago, is the league was not very good my first year. Really, even the year before I got here, it was not very good either. Just was not a great league. And it's just steadily gotten better. There were four NCAA tournament teams my first year. We were one of them. Last couple of years, there's been 8 to 10. It's just a much deeper, better league. There are not many bad teams. And that makes it, I think, different than some of the other power leagues.
Coach, I'm going to let you go, but I want to ask you a question for the young athletes out there that's watching or will watch during the course of the next few days. How important is AAU spring summer basketball during the live periods for them to be seen by coaches? Um, is there one more than the other where you get seen more, recruited at? Can you speak on that briefly? Do you understand what I'm saying?
High school versus AAU, you're saying?
Yes. How
No, I think they
important is
both,
it?
yeah, they're both really important. I mean, really important.
Okay.
And we often won't offer a kid if we've seen him just in high school or just in AAU. We really want to see him in both environments and see how he responds in both environments. And I think for
Because
us,
is one more structured than the other, you would say?
yeah, I think in high school you have scouting, you have more familiarity with teams, um, and then AAU. Sometimes the talent level is just you go to Peach Jam. Those are like the best high school teams in the country. They're kind of select teams, as you know. So I think there's value in both. A lot of value, a lot of value in both. There are excellent high school coaches, particularly in our state and in our city. Excellent high school coaches. I mean, really good. There are really good AAU coaches in our state and in our city, and I think that's what I appreciate is that we have coaches that are coaching kids and challenging them to get better. And good players want to be coached, George, as you know. Good players want to be coached. They want to be told the truth. They don't want things sugar coated. And the best players I've coached, Malachi Branham, EJ Liddell, we talked about the Westons. They all wanted to be coached at a really high level. Um, and I think that's, um, Kyle Young, those guys just, they almost demanded it. So it's great to be able to see kids in those environments, both in AAU and in high school.
The last 2 years you've had two freshmen
Hmm.
that came in that nobody, I don't care what anybody says, especially about Malachi, nobody thought was going to do what they did. And you've had two back to
Yeah,
back freshmen come in and get drafted in the NBA. That has to make you feel proud as a coach.
it does. Um, it gives me a few sleepless nights too because I think about what you know what those guys could be as sophomores, and yeah, it makes me makes me I have to like snap back. Okay, nope, I'm not coaching them a second year. They're great kids. Malachi's story is so special because he came on from January on after struggles. He didn't score in one of our league games, our early league games against Wisconsin. He didn't score. And while, there might have been people around him kind of blaming me and blaming the coaches for him not scoring, he wasn't. He just went to work. He just went to work. And he had a beautiful family and support system. Beautiful mom and grandmother and uncle Lawrence who just helped him through those struggles, and he got better and better, and man has really, I think he's going to have a great sophomore year there in San Antonio. And Bryce is going to be, I'm excited. I'm really excited about it, the start of his career, and I'm really excited about you didn't mention EJ, but EJ, and 3 years in, and he, last year during summer league, he does that to his knee and he bounces back, and they give him a 3-year deal. Man, I shed a tear hearing that because that's a young man who really
Worked
deserved,
hard.
worked
Yes.
really hard, and represented Ohio
I
State
just
at the
didn't
highest
mention him
level.
because I didn't mention him only because I was talking about the freshman, but
Yeah, I'll get you.
I'm sure everybody, and I'm well aware of what EJ did. He's going to be a good player. I think he's a throwback type of a guy to me that he's a throwback type of guy that can rebound, plays tough, can but he's going to be. They're all going to be successful in the league. Malachi had a great summer, um,
Yep.
and I think they're going to really be good. Well, Coach, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you coming on, and I'm going to get back with you. If I can, right before the season starts, I'll have a preseason special, and I'll try to get up there and watch you guys practice and work out. But hey, thank you so very, very much. I really appreciate you, Coach.
Absolutely, George. Anytime. Say hello to your family.
I will. Thank you. And that's Coach Holtmann from Ohio State University. And it's just an honor and a pleasure to have him on. I really, really appreciate him. I've been knowing him for probably 20 plus years, and stand-up guy, first class guy, and he's doing a great job with the Ohio State Buckeyes. I know sometimes, as fans, we get frustrated, but when you look at the whole scheme of things, they're doing a great job over there as a staff. I'm going to take a commercial break, and hopefully, when I come back, we've got the Hall of Famer, Coach Tom Izzo. He'll be with us, joining us live. welcome back to the show. Once again, I'm so excited to be back. It's been a minute since I've been on, and a lot of people have been asking me, when you coming back? When you bringing the show back? Well, I'm here, and I'm going to take, actually, I'm not. I'll be back here next Sunday for a special show, a very, very special show um, with some of the prominent pastors here in Columbus, Ohio. Hopefully, we'll have the mayor on and the chief of police here in Columbus as we talk about teen violence, as our young teens here in Columbus, Ohio, are getting shot in almost like every day, and it's really been uh, it's really touched me and been on my spirit. So it's something that we're going to have a great show this coming Sunday at 6 p.m. It'll be our barbershop talk um, right here on the Coach Howard Show. But right now, I want to bring in the Hall of Famer, the legend, Coach Izzo. There he is, my man.
What's up, George? How you doing, George?
Hey, hey, best hand. I'm just glad you let me play with it.
Yeah, you sounded good, man. I enjoyed the last interview with Chris. I got to listen to part of it. You were great.
Good. The only thing I didn't get to hear was him say they was going to beat y'all this year. I didn't even push that button, so we left that alone.
Well, they beat us in a big game last year, that's for sure. You did a great job last year getting those freshmen to be better. And that last game of the year that we played them, we beat them, and then we went to the Big Ten tournament. They beat us, but we've had some great rivalries with Ohio State. They've been good, and I got a lot of respect for Chris and their whole program.
I've been knowing you for a long time, and
Yeah.
and I knew you when you had brown hair, and didn't have any gray up there. But and I remember one time you telling me just call you. I think I was in your office, and you said no, you can't. But I can never call you that because I have too much respect for you and what you've done over the years, and who and you've always made me feel warm and welcome when I've come up to your office, or no matter what it is, you've always been there for me when I've called you. And if you couldn't, you told me, hey, I'm sorry, I can't do it. But before we go any further, congratulations. I know your daughter just had a baby, right?
Yeah, my first grandchild, little girl.
So you're how many?
What?
That's your first?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been saving it, best for
you
last.
You got that big, proud paw smile.
It really is, George. But when you said what you called me, anything you call me is better what some fans call me. So I thought anything you want to call me, you can call me.
Oh shoot! Hey, Coach, let's dig right in. Let's talk about your team. I know last year it didn't go according to plan, the way that myself or many people are used to seeing a Michigan State team. What do you consider last year a down year for you guys? And can you talk about last year a little bit?
Yeah, it's funny, George, and you followed us. We've had kind of a strange couple of years, losing some players and the things that we went through. But in all honesty, it was kind of a down year, especially the regular season. And then we played pretty well in the NCAA tournament, get to a Sweet 16 with a real shot to go to a Final Four if we could have beat Kansas State. But I think you're right. Expectations here are a little higher than a lot of places, but nobody's expectations are any higher than mine. So I kind of agree with the media for once, and know that it was a little bit of a down year, and yet we came on better at the end, and we had two major injuries during the year. Jaden Akins and Malik Hall, and Malik Hall never really recovered. Jaden did, but both of them missed 12 to 13 weeks early, and I think that hurt us a little bit too.
When I talked about a down year for you, I've been a Michigan State fan for a long time, um, and I know what you're accustomed to, and I know how your teams have played. But I wasn't surprised when you got to the tournament how you guys made a run because that's just what you do. You know, you play. I was just talking to Coach Holtmann, and he was talking about his non-conference schedule, and he was talking about he got some of that from you because you always play a tough non-conference schedule. How important is that coaches out there watching, high school coaches or college coaches, how important is it to play a tough non-conference schedule?
Well, George, and you and I have talked many a times. And by the way, I listened to what you're going to do next week, and I think that's awesome. But ever since I've known you, you've been about the kids, and you're always concerned about your community and the kids. I think that's great. Another guy that was like that was John Chaney. Do you remember John Chaney at Temple? He's the one that kind of convinced
Yes,
me I
I'm
got to
Coach
play tough
Cheney.
people. Yeah. So I played him first. That was one of the first games. He beat us at our place. The next year, I had Mateen Cleaves and them. We went there at a 16-point lead, and a guy named Pepe Sanchez, who I'm sure you remember the name, George. He had a shot at the buzzer to beat us by one there. And John Chaney came to our bus after. He told my team, just keep backing your coach, keep letting him play the best people. It's going to benefit you. And, 5 years later, it has benefited us a lot. And we too have another tough schedule this year. But I think, Chris, you got to watch what you do, especially in Columbus. Boy, those fans are rabid at times. And yet, I think, in all honesty, he's trying to do the right thing, and he's got a good team coming back. And I think he's upgrading his schedule. I know we are. I think to be the best, you got to play the best. And sometimes, George, taking a lump once in a while early kind of brings you back to reality, especially if your team thinks they're real good. And so it's benefited me, and I'm going to keep doing it till I'm done.
Well, hopefully that won't be for a while, Coach, because I love seeing you on the sideline and being able to pick up a phone and call you direct, and I thank you for that. Let's talk about your incoming freshman for a second, if it's okay.
Yeah, I'd
Um,
love to.
you got my guy, beautiful guy, beautiful family, Xavier Booker, 6'10", 5-star. Talk about Xavier for a second and what he brings to the program.
Well, Xavier was a guy that a summer ago he had a really good year in the AU, and then his year he was just kind of okay for him. But I think strength, adding strength, he's gained 5 pounds already. He's got to get stronger and learn how to play harder, the same as 95% of the big guys. You got a good one down in Columbus there, and that kid really came on at the end of the year. Early, he was just kind of finding his way, not strong enough, not tough enough. Xavier's going to go through some growing pains, but boy, even in the last week, I've seen some improvement. He wants to learn. You're right. He's got an incredible family. And I think Xavier is going to be one hell of a player before he's done, George. And you can't coach 6'11", you can't teach it. Or 7'4" wingspan. Guy runs like a deer. He can shoot it from the three. We think we got ourselves, a player kind of in the Jaren Jackson mold. Maybe shoots it a little better, doesn't block shots like Jaren, but he's kind of in that mold.
But those are the kind of guys that you like and see. I know because I've been watching you and I know the kind of guy you like, them 6'10", 6'11", greyhounds that can get up and down that court, that can score, that can defend, that can rebound, block shots. Those are your type of guys, and he very well could be that type of guy right there. And then you've got that lightning quick point guard in Jeremy Fears, 4-star. Talk about him. How's he doing?
Yeah, he's a 4-star coming out. He's a 5-star for me. He brings a little bit of the Mateen Cleaves back into the program. Tough, aggressive, very good defender, improving on his shot, but he's got leadership skills, George. And you've coached a lot of ball. We're all looking for leaders. Leaders are getting harder to find. I think because of all the texting and everything, It's hard to get guys that can communicate face to face. And Jeremy is one of those kids that he has leadership skills and qualities. And, we've had a couple at Michigan State, but no one that I think is going to be any better. Mateen Cleaves was the best I've had. Magic Johnson, of course, was the best before him. But Jeremy Fears is going to be a special player here before he's done. And I think he's going to play a lot this year and really help us.
Well, you had three 4-stars and 1 5-star. Talk about Cohen Carr, your 6'7" forward.
Well, Cohen Carr was a kid that we got in on kind of late. As you know, we were recruiting a kid that you knew very well that actually went to Ohio State. Chris did a great job with him. And then we kind of, looked around and we found a guy, Cohen Carr, out of a prep school in South Carolina. He's from Atlanta. Phenomenal athlete. I mean, you remember the Jason Richardsons, the Miles Bridges, the Brandon Dawsons.
Yes, I do.
He's one of those 6'6", 6'7", jumping jacks. I told my equipment man, we got to start putting rubber around the rim because every time he jumps, his head's up there. He's got good skills. He's a great kid. And we think, in time, this kid's going to be a special player because of his athleticism and his work ethic.
Now, the Norman kid, how do you pronounce his first name, Coach?
It's Gehrig, and it is kind of hard.
Gehrig Norman.
I call him G because I get screwed up myself, George, so I don't mind you getting a little bit crazy. But
talk about him, 6'5" guard. Talk about him, Coach.
Well, he came from the same area as our kid, Matt McQuaid, and Matt's dad knew of him down there. We started recruiting him. He's a 6'5", pretty athletic shooting guard. Got to get stronger, but dad played football at Kansas State. Brother's a good football player. We think it was a perfect balance. We got a point guard who can deliver. We got a 2 guard who can shoot it. We got a 3-man, can play the 3 or 4 and athletic. And then, of course, we got Book, who's a 4-man, a 5-man, a 3-man, because he can shoot it. He can play a lot of different positions. So I think, George, we have some versatility with those freshmen. And that's going to be good because we got a lot of good upperclassmen that have really done a great job helping form the freshmen, And I've always said since I've been here, a player-coach team is better than a coach-coach team. And when you got veterans that can help coach those freshmen, they listen a little more, they hear a little more, and it's a lot more helpful, speeds the process a little bit.
Your returning players, A.J. Hogarth, Tyson Walker, Jaden Atkins, Malik Hall, Jackson Kohler, Carson Cooper, Trey Holloman, and Mady Sissoko. Now, so with your returning players, we also have Steven Izzo on the team.
Yeah.
Your son.
And I might start him if Walker doesn't watch out.
But with those guys coming back, tell people what they can expect to see with this year's 23-24 team at Michigan State.
Well, you just said it. In 19, we went to the Final Four. In 20, it was one of my best teams. We were playing our best basketball at the end of the year with Cassius Winston, and I really thought we had a legitimate shot, and they called it because of COVID. And then 21 and 22, as you said last year, maybe not quite the standards, although we got beat by Duke in 21, and we got beat last year by Kansas State, whatever year that was. But this year, I'm putting my neck out there a little bit, George. I like my team. And usually in the summer, Tom Izzo never likes his team. So I like my team. I think we've got a great balance. First of all, we got good guards. Hogarth, Tyson, Walker, and Akins, as you said. And then you put Jeremy on there. And Trey Holloman has really improved. He's athletic. He can play both positions. So I think we're going to be very solid at the guards. Inside, we got 3 bigs that are all 6'9", 10, and 11. Sissoko has gotten better. He's gained some weight. Uh, we really think that we're going to be manned pretty solidly up front where we have some depth. Last year, if you remember, George, we had no depth. I mean, we started out the year with 10 players on scholarship. We had 2 hurt. So we had no depth. This year we got depth, and everybody's first thing they're going to say is, well, you're going to have playing time problems. I swear to God, you can't please people. One minute you got too much depth. One minute you don't have enough depth.
Isn't that the story? Isn't that the story everywhere? Playing time problems.
I mean, I used to tell your media down there. There were years I thought Chris did an unbelievable job, and there I said, hey, he's doing a great job. It's sometimes things happen. You've been a coach. You are a coach. So, injuries or sometimes illnesses or different things happen. And this day and age, George, with the social media like it is, we got to keep our kids' heads up and ready to go because everybody else is kind of getting after them. So it's different, but I like my team. I think we'll be a top 10 team in the preseason, and I'm going to embrace that instead of downplay it. We should be good. I think we got a chance to be good. If the coach doesn't screw them up, we will be good.
Well, let's hope the coach doesn't do that this year. I know one thing. Me and my wife will be down this year to watch a couple games and, hang out down there.
Well, George,
I know that.
You've been great because you try to get up once in a while. And then when I come down there for some of those high school tournaments, you're always so gracious and helpful. And I think that's why a lot of coaches love you. I think you're honest. I think you kind of embrace us all. And we appreciate that. I mean, we understand that you can't be for all of us, but I think you're pretty honest. And ever since I've known you, it's been, I don't know, over 20 years, would you say? Close to?
Yes.
I mean, we've been knowing each other for a long time. And I appreciate that about you. And, watching the show a little bit with Chris and watching you and listening to what you're going to do next week, none of it surprises me. I'm sure the people around there are glad to have you back.
Thank you. And Coach, before I let you get out of here, I got 2 more questions for you. Can you talk about your non-conference schedule this year? Because I know you got another tough one, and I know that you'll be one of the first teams we'll see on ESPN this year because you'll be playing against somebody or some. Are you on a ship this year? Because next time you're going to be on a plane playing, or you're going to be up in Mars. Because I know if you could, you'd play up on Mars.
I'd like to get up to Mars, man. I'd take you with me if I go. So hang on. Tell your wife you're in trouble. But we open again with Duke, in that Tournament of Champions, and then we got Arizona out in California. We just picked up Baylor in Detroit, and we got one more we're working on down in Texas, and then we've got let's see, who else do we got? We've got one more in there. It's from the Big East, in fact. Your old coach over at Butler.
Butler.
Yeah, we got Butler. So we got 5 power schools, and then we've got some other pretty good ones. But I think it's going to be an incredible schedule, as usual. And if you win it all, you're really good. If you lose a few, you hopefully learn from it. And if our kids are reading the press clippings that we're too good, I don't even have to say nothing. That takes it out of them. So great schedules are great. And plus the fans love it. They want the best games. Hell, you want that. You'll be sitting on your couch with some popcorn and watching the games, right, George?
You're exactly right, because I love that popcorn. I can't think of the name of it, but I eat it like it's crazy. And I love to sit and watch Michigan State basketball. So that's something I really, because your games are always competitive. And I love to see, I wish I had a camera and I could get some snapshots of your face. I was going through the other day when I was looking for a picture of you to post, to give to our media guy. You go to Google and you put in Tom Izzo photos, and what pops up, you need to go in there one day, Coach, because your faces, how when you get mad You get on your guys.
Yeah, but you can't do that anymore, George. That was the old days. Now you'll get some
Well,
lawyer will sue you for that. So I'm more mellow now. I just kind of
Coach,
sit back, and you got to be nice to the officials. You got to be nice to everybody. But hey, as
Coach,
Judd
you will
Heathcote
never
used to,
just sit back.
yeah, you're right. But you know, Judd used to say, George, sooner or later the game makes fools of us all. It's made a fool of me more than a couple times.
Coach, can you for any young players out there watching, uh, what do you say to a kid that thinks about entering the transfer portal, um, doesn't have anything set, um, didn't play a lot at the school he was at before, but he's jumping into the portal. Um, can you touch on that? Because my opinion of that is, and I'd like for them to hear it coming from a Hall of Famer, but my opinion is if you don't have anything and you don't have a lot of film where you were, stay where you were until you get some film because I have so many college coaches that tell me the percentage of kids that jump in the portal and then they have nowhere to go.
Well, I think this year there's over 500 and some right now that have not landed in a place. So that's a shame right there because that's going to hurt their education. But what I would tell you is when the going gets tough, the tough get going, you know? And right now we're looking at it when the going gets tough, get the hell out of Dodge. And I just don't think that's right, you know? So what I would do is I'd name some players. And some of my players are Morris Peterson, didn't play at all as a freshman, very little as a sophomore. Xavier Tillman, played 3-4 minutes a game. Denzel Valentine, Draymond Green. Those guys, maybe this day and age, would have transferred. And they all ended up first or second round picks. And there's a lot more of them like that, and every school has that. I heard you talking about Malachi. You know, God, halfway through the year, everybody talking about what a disappointment. And look at him. He was the 16th, 18th pick, and now he's playing for the San Antonio Spurs. They got a good big guy along with him this year. So,
Yeah,
I would tell kids
I think
that
so.
enjoy the process. Realize that it takes a little time. And, those that, we always say those that stay, will be successful or will be champions. Bo Schembechler, I guess I shouldn't say that on Ohio Network here, but once said that at Michigan, those who stay will be champions. And I think whether it's you or me, whether it's Chris or somebody else, if you don't go through a little adversity, you never get better. And adversity makes you stronger, makes you tougher, makes you better. I'm worried that today's kid, the minute things get a little shaky, they hit the road, and usually what you find out, and that's why you see these guys transferring 2, 3, even 4 times, sooner or later you got to look at it and say, maybe it wasn't the coach or the program, and look in the mirror and say, maybe it was me. And I think that every place isn't for everybody, but I've had very few guys that have stuck it out that haven't been successful.
Well, Coach, and that's why I wanted to ask you because I kind of feel the same way. And, I do have parents call me often, matter of fact, and ask my opinion on that because their kids are thinking about getting in the portal or they've already gotten in the portal and then they have nowhere to go. And I'm a firm believer in that. I'm not crazy about the portal myself, just like I'm not real crazy about the NIL, but that's another subject for another day. I think when the NCAA started the NIL, they didn't really have it on exactly how, and that's only been my problem with it. I think that young people should have an income while they're in college, but I think it's kind of getting out of hand. We're not going to get into that discussion at this time, but I am blessed to have relationships with coaches all over the country. And I don't know if there's a day that goes by on Sundays, maybe a Sunday, that I don't talk to college coaches, text with coaches. But to have you as a friend and to know you uh, is very, and I appreciate you, Coach. I love you, Coach. You are uh, very special to me and always will be. And I appreciate your kindness and for being there whenever I call you. And I thank you for coming on the show. I'm going to hit you up again before the season on my preseason special that I have. So, hopefully I can get you on and you won't be busy because I know everybody's pulling at you from every different angle. But I thank you very much for coming on the show, Coach.
Well, George, I just want to say thank you because, like I said, I wouldn't go on the show if I didn't respect you a lot. And I say that because we do get asked to do a lot of things, but we pick and choose just like you do. And I think when I watch you, when I come to a big tournament down there, I come to the high school tournament down there, Ohio's been pretty good to Michigan State. And that's taking nothing away from anybody else. But I just like the way you are, honest and classy. And that's all we really ask. But I think you ask the same of us. Don't lie to me about a kid. Tell me the truth. That's what you've done. You and your wife have a great rest of the summer. Anytime you need me, in October, November, just call. This has been fun. I'd be glad to do it. And maybe during the year, call me too, and I might act one way or another differently according to some wins and losses.
I can promise you one thing. Me and my wife, we love it, and I'll be busy because they've got me doing high school football this year. So, I'll be doing that, going straight into basketball. But we are going to take a weekend or two, and we're going to come down there for a couple big games and let her see how it is down in Michigan State. And maybe after the game, hopefully it's a win, because I know if it's a win, you don't mind inviting me up to the office. I don't know how you're going to be after a loss. So I haven't been around you after a loss. So we'll see how that goes. But thank
All
you
right,
very
George.
much, Coach, and you have a wonderful evening.
Thanks, brother. See you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, talk to you soon. Well, the Hall of Famer, Coach Tom Izzo, he's been a friend of mine for a long time, and I am so appreciative of him. He's always there when I need him. We have some great conversations before, and his assistant coaches. He's got some great assistant coaches that I have great talks with too, and they always show me mad love, and I appreciate that. Um, I'm going to go to commercial break, and when I come back, I'm going to talk about what lies ahead for me on my new journey. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it, and I want to share that with you tonight. And we'll be right back to the Coach Howard Show right after this commercial. All right. I'm back. It's so good to be back. Feels like I never left, but I did. Um, Listen, I know a lot of you watching the show right now see the shirt that I have on, 3SSB. And I'm happy to be able to wear this shirt. Um, I've been with the program and with the guy in Jerry Watson that I love, I respect, and I've been with a long time, learned a lot from. He is the GOAT of AAU here in the state of Ohio. And I have nothing but mad respect for him. But I made a decision to step away, venture out. Sometime, it's just time, and it's okay. It's okay um, to step outside and change. Change is never not okay um, for me anyway. But I made a decision to walk away from a program that I love and that's been dear to me, that I've represented the best that I could over the years, and and I always will love the program. But now I'm going over to Phenoms United, and a director in Daryl Peterson that I have mad respect for, um, and who has a vision. Um, I love the vision. I love where he's taking his program, where he wants to go with this program. I've been asked a lot, um, and the biggest question that I've been asked is, what's going to happen after Darren Peterson leaves? Well, I'm going to tell you, the program is going to go nowhere but up. Um, his vision is to build one of the top programs in the country, and I'm over here to help him. He's brought me in. I am now the director of recruiting for the Phenoms United program, and I'm going to do everything I can to build this program up, to make it successful and make it one of the top programs in the country. Um, he's doing things the right way. I like what he's doing, and he's got a guy named Weaver with him that, hey, they're ready to go. They're excited about having me, and I'm excited about being there. He's brought on some good people throughout the state, and we're bringing on some more. We also have brought on some people in Kentucky, and we're going to be all over the place. So um, we're coming. It's going to be exciting, and we're coming after the top players in the state. Um, so just know that I'm not going to stop doing what I do, and recruiting is what I do. And I am so excited about this. Um, it just it really touches me when I talk about it, because on one hand, it's tough to leave somewhere that I've been for a long time. And for all of you that know who I am and who I've been with, that I've represented that program very, very well. Um, but now it's time for me to represent another program, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to give it 110%. And if you're watching and you're a ball player out there, or you're a parent, I'm coming after you. And so just know that I'm coming, and I'm excited about it. Um, this program will be one of the top programs in the state, and soon will be one of the top programs in the country. And we'll have fun together. We'll be a family, and you'll enjoy playing for Phenoms United. Just remember that. So I am now the director of recruiting, for Phenoms United, and I'm excited about it. Um, I'm so glad that um, Mr. Peterson has um, faith in me to come over and help his program. And we're going to be doing a lot of different things. So stay tuned. You'll see. We'll be having showcases. We're going to be doing a whole lot of different things here in the state of Ohio. Even outside of the state, we're going to venture off and do some things as well. But that's where I am, and you'll be hearing from me. You'll be seeing me. I'll still be out and about. I'll just have on different colors. I wore red and white for many, many, many years, and now I'm in the black and white with a touch of red. So you'll be seeing me, um, and I'm excited about my new venture. My wife fully supports it. My family fully supports it, and I have a lot of friends and coaches that support it, and have you know written me with big words of encouragement, and that makes me feel good. Even today, when Clay Hall posted what he posted on Twitter, um, I had many tweets from college coaches congratulating me, and I appreciated that very, very much, and along with some friends. So it's a new time for me, to be with Phenoms United, and you'll see us all over the place. And now I'm a part of the Adidas family. I've been with Nike for so long, but I still love Nike. That's not going to just go away. But I'm now a part of the Adidas family, and I'm excited about it. I've had a few people from Adidas text me and say, "Welcome to the family," and I thank them very, very much. So, listen, this Sunday, please tune in and you'll see the advertisements on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Um, I have a very, very special show about teen violence, teen killings, teen shootings that just weighed on my heart and my spirit. And I remember calling Al Edmondson and I said, listen, we've got to do this show. Can we do it in your barbershop? And he said, sure, because he's a community activist and his ties are strong in the community. I reached out to several prominent coaches here in Central Ohio, and I'm so blessed to have relationships with many, not coaches, but pastors. I'm blessed to have many relationships with pastors throughout, and they accepted. And I'm so glad they did with no problem. Um, and hopefully we can get the mayor of Columbus and the chief of police to join us as well as we talk about this. Maybe talk about how it can be curbed, how it can be slowed down, and what do they think that we can do as a city, as a community to stop this nonsense? Because it's crazy. It's just that we have teens killing teens almost on a daily basis. So this show is going to be very, very important. That's this Sunday at 6 p.m. It'll be live from Cut Above the Rest Barbershop. And I look forward to you watching this show. We're going to have it where you can send in questions and ask the pastors. I'll be your host along with my co Al Edmondson, and it's going to be a great show. So tune in to that on Sunday. Thank you very much for watching special this evening with Coach Holtmann of Ohio State University and Coach Izzo from Michigan State, who both I have mad respect for. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Once again, I'll be doing high school football games this year, 10 game schedule, TV games weeks, each week starting August the 18th with Westerville North and Westerville Central. I'm excited about that. And then I go straight from there into basketball. So I'll be busy. My son plays college football, so I'll be going down there on Saturdays. It's going to be a busy time for me and my wife. So until I talk to you again this Sunday, thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. And remember, tell someone today that you love them. It's very important because tomorrow is never promised to us. Have a wonderful evening. God bless you. Bye bye.